We're back. It's my turn. Hey.
Hey,
How's everyone doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
You're
Bye.
not really everyone, but it's okay.
What are we supposed to say in this space, Madison?
No, you're not. I'm kidding. I'm glad you're good. That's good.
Yeah, I feel way better this week than I do
We
than I did
really have been
last.
sticking to the positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
Better than the last 2 months.
The amount of discipline and love that I have given myself in the past week has made up for the 2 months, honestly.
I
Like
would
I have
agree with
really
that.
hunkered down on this.
Yeah.
I am not letting up anytime soon. So
That's
everybody
good.
buckle up.
Great.
Yeah. I had gone on a walk with one of our dear friends, Kiki,
Kiki.
probably like 2 weeks ago at this point. And we were just talking about how we were kind of in the same space as one another, like kind of just not feeling our best, definitely a little anxious, not taking care of ourselves in the way that we know that we should with working out and eating well and like having good sleep hygiene. All of it was just off the mark. And we made a promise, like we shook hands on it,
That's
that we were
cute.
going to stick to it. And it was starting that day, and we were going to follow up with each other and just really get to it. And then we're going to see each other on the 29th, and we are going to touch base and talk about how has it gone so far? Have we stuck to it?
Cute.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been sticking to it. I hope she has too.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
It always helps to have a buddy. Like if you're needing that
I really think
extra
so.
something.
Yeah. I don't know, that accountability and just know, not even like, oh, I need to be held accountable, but it's also just, I want to do my part of this deal so that I'm not letting them down.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's so true. That
It's
is
really
mostly
fun.
it. Yeah.
It's really fun.
Good.
But
All
yeah.
right. So today we wanted to just talk about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So originally this thought stemmed from Brogan came to visit us, which was awesome.
Really needed it. To be
Yeah.
honest, like I think I cried. And then I asked her, I think I'll cry again.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I asked her to write me a note, which she didn't get a chance to.
I know.
She, had
Okay,
to leave,
Brogan,
but
also if you're listening, you have to draw us something.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll frame it.
But she was talking about how we need to stop trying to like make harsh changes, and because she had listened to the episode, right? And now granted, I probably didn't retain 100% of her message to us, but
Right.
from what I took away from it, maybe what I needed to hear and what I retained was that we're sometimes like we need to be softer with ourselves and accept where we are. And the word she used was surrender, like just surrender to everything. Like I have been pushing so hard to change certain things and try to get my body back to where it needs to be, like health wise, that I'm kind of doing the opposite of what I should.
Right.
Like I'm resisting what I need to lean into.
Yeah, and this all started with a question. Like she was just inquiring about how we're doing, but like on a deeper level of like, how are you guys doing? Like, how are you feeling in your body? And I was telling her that I'm very prone to forcing things, especially when things aren't working my way. I'm like, I try harder. And that just, it doesn't end up well. At the beginning, it's okay. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, whoa, like the fatigue hits, a bunch of other things, mental health decreases, like it's just not great. And so I was saying, I was like, as lame as it sounds, and even for me to say it now, I was like, I know I need to surrender. And then she was like, yeah, but even like how you just said that, like, why is that lame? Like that's resistance in itself. I was like, yeah, that's true. I don't know why. It just seems like kind of silly sometimes to say that. But I think that is really necessary.
It's because to me, it's like, okay, if I surrender, right? If I like, that means I'm giving up. But no, I think what I understand it better as nowadays, and by nowadays, I mean today versus 3 days ago, but it's like,
Hey, it was 4 days ago.
was it?
Nah, I don't know.
It's just more so like a chance to regroup. Like, okay, for example, guys, my eyebrows have been falling out. I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast yet. My eyebrows have been falling out in rapid numbers, and it's like not a chill thing. Like I have lost probably 2/3 of my eyebrows in the past 2 weeks.
Oh my
Scary
God.
shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
horrible.
And I have been, obviously, when that starts to happen, like you start to seek answers. And I had like a really emergency, like last minute dermatology appointment. I was like applying these creams to try to stop what was happening. I bought hair growth serum, all of it. And obviously, like, I think the mental health component is a big part of why they're falling out.
Yeah.
Whether or not there's other deficiencies and whatnot, I know that stress depletes your body, and extended periods of stress is going to put your body into this really funky state that it doesn't want to operate in. I think that's what's causing it. And so having this talk with Brogan and you made me realize, like, I am trying to fix things by pushing harder, when I should probably just accept that, like, hey, okay, this is the state, is every morning and every night when I go to put the cream on my eyebrows, they're going to fall out. Like, accept it. And then, because me resisting it is not going to make them stop falling out.
Right.
Like, I can't stop it. So what am I fighting it for?
Yeah, that's true. And I think that, because I was trying to think of like what surrender means to me, because I also have that immediate thought of like, it means I'm giving up, but we aren't even wired that way to give up.
No.
And so we're always working towards whatever that thing is that we want, but we're not trying to force things anymore. Like you were saying, like, it's the forcing and like the pushing against what isn't working. That's the problem for me. I'm like, why isn't this working? And that's why I try harder and harder. And as I was saying, that just doesn't work out in the end.
Right.
Like, I just need to flow with it and see what's coming my way in a more gentle pace than what I typically do.
Yeah. Worded very well. Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because when you talk, like, or when I'm talking, like, I have a thought in my head and then it comes out sort of differently when you're speaking. And then when you're like, oh, that sounded great, I'm like, did it? Okay,
because it's like not
because
how I wanted to say
yeah,
it.
exactly. I'm like, that's not really it, but it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, surrendering is like it's more of like a feeling. It's kind of hard to explain what it is. But it's sort of like you feel more at ease with your circumstances than pushing up against them.
Yep. And I will say that ever since we had that talk, I've just tried to soften into myself and into the situation. And now I don't know if the creams have just been helping or if it's been the allotted amount of time. I actually have no idea what's even causing the hair loss, but I will say that it has slowed down. And so I'm like, did it work?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Am I doing it right? Am I being rewarded? Are my eyebrows not going to fall out anymore because I am softening into myself? I don't know.
I mean, it's great that you saw the physical changes like within a few days, but even just like the feeling of it is already amazing, isn't it? Like when you sort of live with that sort of ease.
The mental space that I'm in now compared to where we were when we were super frantic playing pickleball like last year.
Oh my God.
And then where we were even 2 weeks ago is so different.
Yeah.
It is so much calmer in my head than it's been in a long time. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm going to do everything possible to stay there.
Yeah, me too. And I honestly think that it will only get better from here.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I hope.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
something you brought up was, it's not analysis paralysis because that's not it.
It sort of is analysis. The way that I was describing it is like being afraid of misstepping.
Okay, can you go into detail about this?
Okay,
give some context.
So this past weekend, I have had an opportunity to change my career in a sense. Mm-hmm. And on paper, and even if I said it out loud, it sounds like very random and like something that I would never have chosen.
Okay.
So naturally, I can get into my head and have a massive train of thought about maybe why I shouldn't do this, or is this opportunity a sign for me to change things up? And I was saying to Tess that then I get into the headspace of what I was saying is misstepping, of like, I'm afraid to take this step because I think it's going to like determine the rest of my life or maybe like change the course of my life. So then I make this decision way bigger than it needs to be when I could just go into it. And if I don't like it, I can change it.
Okay.
Like I need to give myself the power that I can always change my circumstance versus feeling like I'm stuck in something.
Okay. There is this phrase that I've seen a bunch where a lot on social media too, where it's like, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a no.
Dude.
Right?
Yes.
And I don't think that's always sound advice because there's not always a fuck yes option on the table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes.
Like sometimes it's like, what is the lesser of the two evils? What is going to help me in this moment just get some peace of mind and a deep breath? And
Right.
that's what you need to lean into. So I just like kind of want to squash that idea of if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a no. Because some things in life, for sure, if there's a fuck yes on the table. Also, if it's a fuck no, then that's something to notice and lean into as well. Of like, if that's a no and I am having strong aversions to it, then I need to lean into that.
Mm-hmm.
So with you feeling this, I think that that's also the cause of like, it's not like the opportunities that are laid out for you in this moment in time, which is just obviously this moment in time. It's not forever. They're not, neither of them are really like a deep calling for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to make a decision because they're both like, meh.
Right.
However, I'm a big believer in like, if an opportunity comes and it seems like it's something you maybe should do for whatever reasons, maybe whether it gets you on a different path but that scares you. That's what you're saying is like, what if it puts me on a different path entirely?
Right. Because I don't know if it's like, then you read all these things of like when people are like in their 50s and they're just like, oh, life happened to me. Like I took this one step and then it just like, I tumbled into this and did that. And then I'm 20 years later in this career that I fucking hate.
Yeah, but that
and
would
I'm
never
like,
be
oh
you.
my God. But yes, exactly.
That would never.
would not be me. But then I have the thought in my head of like, that could be me. So that's why I think, I don't know. And again, if you listen to the podcast, I obviously put a lot of emphasis on my career.
Yeah.
So I think that that's just maybe a belief that I need to like lighten the grip on.
All right, let's walk through this together. And if you're in a similar situation, maybe this can help. If we look at your track record, you've never stayed in something that didn't make you happy for that long.
Yes.
If we look at your career history or just where you've lived or any of it, you have always been a mover and a shaker.
Mm-hmm.
You get up and you go when it's time.
Yeah.
So why can't this be the same thing?
True.
Like why do when we get faced with a decision like this, do we put so much gravity with it that it's like, well, what do we do?
Yeah,
like,
it's like I have the mindset of like, oh, well, this is going to be forever.
Yeah,
which is like, it's not. No, and I totally know that. And
right.
and luckily, like after I mull that over, and I'm like, wait, but if I do look at my past experiences with anything, like first off, I have the power to change it, and I usually do if I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So why not try?
Mm-hmm. I relate to you on feeling like it's such a big decision, but not on a career level. Mine lies within who I'm dating, like who my partner in life is, because I'm a career driven person. Like obviously I put a lot of work into Cowboys and that's like what I want. And we stick to it every single week.
Yeah.
And, all of that. But my other jobs have always been like, no big deal. Like I can always change it. There's always more along my path. Like it doesn't hold that much weight for me. But I have noticed, because I am someone who has been in more serious and more long-term relationships, when I get faced with the opportunity to proceed in a serious relationship, I've been like, shit. And I like take a real moment because I have recognized how much weight that holds in your life. Who you're dating, I think has a bigger impact or can have a bigger impact depending on the type of person you are and how you are in relationships. But I think it has a huge impact on your day-to-day life. Mm-hmm. It can affect where you live, how you spend your time, majority of who you spend your time with,
Same
how
with
you
career.
feel.
I feel like they're both like very prominent in that regard. Like they're obviously different, but they're kind of similar because everything you just listed, same.
Yeah, I see that. And it's something that you and Brogan were talking about this past week was how you feel like, I don't know, like it's not my purpose. Like I want to be value driven with my work.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that. And I think that is potentially also what is putting you in a pickle, is because neither feel like they hold, it's not that they're invaluable, or I should say not valuable jobs, but it's like, what's the value to you?
Right.
Like they do serve people. They are important jobs, but what is the intrinsic value for you? How does it make you feel? Do you feel like you're contributing?
And going off of that thought is, you're completely right about contributing also to like the greater picture of the world. But then I think at this moment, like that opportunity that I was talking about earlier in the episode, that new job opportunity for me would help my mental space a lot, which in part will help me find my passions or like work for my passions, even on the weekends if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about like volunteering for stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, because if you stay in something that is just not, and this is with anything, right? If you stay in something that is just not working and you feel low all the time, well, obviously you're not going to be motivated and inclined to go do shit and help others.
right.
Because you don't feel good. Versus if you're like pretty satisfied and you're like, that's doable, and you're not as consumed with it in a negative way, then
my energy is open.
yeah.
My life force is high.
Yeah. And I think when there's an opportunity that comes on your path, it's there for a reason. Whether or not you take it, it's maybe there just to have you reconsider.
Right.
And I think it's really cool that you have an opportunity that you can explore.
Yeah.
With a pretty low buy-in.
Totally. Yeah. And I think I like to get, heady about it and think about all the things that we were sharing today. But then I also do like a list in my head of like pros and cons, like at the most logical level, how does this look? Mm-hmm. And I feel like there are more pros.
Mm-hmm. I think it's good that you step back a little bit and are less emotional about a decision like this.
Yeah.
Because I think it's good to mull it over, but I don't always think that it needs the level of intensity.
Right. Because then I'm analysis paralysis.
Yeah,
then I won't
choose.
take the step, and then I'm here waiting for something to hop into my lap.
Well, and I think that also, from anything I've ever done in my life, anytime I've ever taken a step and viewed it as like just an opportunity, that's all it is. It's not a forever thing. It's not a dictator of my future. None of it. It's just something different. Mm-hmm. It has always opened my mind up, or actual physical tangible opportunities up, and I've somehow skirted into something else,
right? Which is exciting alone. And also, just not to mention like the new skills that you can learn that you would never think. Yeah.
When I put less emphasis and energy on the career, it kind of feels like a people mover. Like I just glide into different spaces with different people, and it just happens. I don't know.
No, I like that. And also, then I think like we're lucky that our passions can be in this project that we do, like with Cowboys.
So then you're not searching for it somewhere else, like in another job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. As much as we'd like to have it everywhere, I think sometimes it's good to not be pouring constantly. Like, what if you were super invested in, I don't know, let's say you worked at like some really cool nonprofit. I mean, but that's like ideal, I'm just saying, but like, what if you worked in something that like really served your soul and others, but then you also had this podcast? Like, could you really give everything 100%? Or is it nice sometimes to be like, this is just for this energy to an end?
Yeah, yes. Totally. This is for money and, connections in that space, but
this
Cowboys,
is for the soul.
Yeah, totally. And that's really helpful for me, because then it doesn't feel like I'm wasting my potential.
I think sometimes you just have to use what's in front of you to get a leg up in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also just like, yeah, it just is interesting when random opportunities come your way, isn't it?
Because I've done so many odd jobs, Madison.
Yeah.
Like the more I think about it, I'm like, I have done so much shit in terms of career. And I like some of the stuff I forget about. I'm like, oh my God, I did that. I worked for them. What?
Dude, yeah, I understand that.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
Like when Madison and I first became friends, for like the first 2 or 3 years, I was like, you also did what?
Yeah.
Like, didn't you work on some regenerative farm or something? What was that?
Yeah, I did in Malibu.
Yeah, I'm just like, you've done a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And that's cool because you've been able to try things and move on from it. I know a lot of times people look at a resume and they're like, well, why'd you bounce around so much? That's a good thing, guys.
In my opinion.
Yeah. You're versatile. You've had experience. You know what you like, what you don't like. You've met these people. You've tried different skills. How is that a bad thing?
Yeah. I know. Well, that's because we know why. Because
Yeah,
I feel
old
like
school
our
mindset.
employers, maybe have the old school mindset. And they're like, oh, you didn't stay at a company for 20 years? I'm like, first off, I'm 28. Okay. What are your 20s for?
Yeah.
I was an untraditional college student. I went
Yeah.
later in life. Like, that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. Anyways, I think that, I don't know, maybe this shift in mindset has created this opportunity, and this opportunity is meant for you right now just to find something else, to get yourself back into your groove, to feel good and explore.
Yes. Right. And I think that the conversations that we had with Brogan were exactly what we needed, because we already were in this mindset. It's just like we needed something to like just add a little bit more spice into it.
To me,
like,
it was like the seal of approval.
Yeah, that's
of
right.
Like, yeah, you like, to me, what Brogan said was like a higher being coming down to give me the words that I've been looking for.
Right.
And it was like the nudge of like, yeah, you guys are on it. Go. Like
Totally.
you found it. You know the feeling that you're leaning in towards. Now actually do it.
That's so true. Like the voice of reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, that's why I cried. I was like, dude, you were put on my path today for this specific reason.
I think for all of us. Yeah. I was just like, this is, and to like hear, that's why connection is so valuable anyways, but also to like hear her experience in her life right now too. I was just like, oh my God, like all of us can just relate on that level. And then the support is enough to fuel me in life.
Absolutely. Because you feel way less alone.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, when you feel like you're not the only one going through this shit, then it becomes lighter. Like the load is not so burdensome because you're like, oh, in one way or another, we kind of all feel this.
Right. And it's also really like, I like to pull from other people's experiences, because you can have similar thought patterns, but you're going through completely different things in your lives, which is so fucking awesome to me.
The human experience is wild and
it
very
is, and like the
interconnected.
different variations of it, you're just like, wow, it's really incredible.
Speaking of human connection, did we talk about this on the last episode? Maybe. The people that have reached out, we have.
Yes.
Again?
Yeah. We'll follow up in saying that means the world to us.
Yeah, we were talking about how lucky we feel that we've created this, because the connections we make with people and the depth of conversation we have is not something I feel like you just happen upon.
Right.
I don't know if it's because we are so open and people feel like they relate to us that they can be open back. I don't know. But like, we've had a couple interactions recently where I'm like, the way that person just cracked themselves wide open and just let me have a look.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I'm just so lucky. Like, this is what it's all about.
Totally.
Oh, I just am so grateful.
Yeah. And that was something else that we just titled this episode Brogan. But that was something else, is that she was just asking the right questions of like, well, where, like, what's next for Cowboys? And obviously Tess and I talk about that, but it was just like when someone else asks you, and then you have to really be a little bit more concise, but just like, okay, let's lay it all out. What is next? And our thing, I think we answered a lot of things, but just like the community aspect of it, like, I don't know exactly what that looks like, but just more of that. Mm-hmm. And so we have some homework, but it's fun. Mm-hmm. And we need to figure out what that looks like.
Self-assigned
like
homework.
Always on like a tangible level. Like, how can we manifest that outwardly to include everyone in on it?
It's very exciting when you start to think about tangible ways of connecting.
Yeah.
Like, not just a podcast episode.
Right.
Oh.
Like, there's like a lot that you can do. And since it is ours, like, we have full freedom with it. And there's literally no pressure. Only the pressure we put on ourselves. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool.
Would you like to end this episode with some more Pima?
Sure.
Okay.
Go first.
Guys, Philip came home.
Oh my God.
Philip is the boyfriend, if you're a new listener. He was gone for a little over a month, and that's not that long in the grand scheme of things, but you know, when you spend like every day
It's kind of
together,
long. Yeah.
well, yeah, when you spend every day together and you are like used to this person always being around, their absence along with Madison's absence, because she was basically gone for the same fucking month.
Yeah.
That combination, I talked about this on a previous episode. It just really made me look at my attachment styles and how I spend my time and what I value. And having you guys both back at home base is just really doing it for
We're
me.
back in action.
Yeah, I feel light and airy.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about it.
That's awesome.
Pima, I think maybe this was last week's, but I'm going to say it again because I'm still riding this wave, is like I've changed my mindset around a couple things that were feeling heavy. And I just feel so much better. And it's not that the circumstances have changed. It's just my mindset towards my circumstances have changed. And that has made a big, big difference. Not that it has completely fixed everything, but I don't feel clouded. I don't feel lethargic. Like I just feel more like myself.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was just thinking when you were saying that, how interesting it is that the evolution of the conscious Cowboys has turned into the importance of mindset.
Yeah.
Because I feel traditionally when we first started and it was all about wellness, like we really honed in on like food,
External
and
factors.
nutrition. Yeah. And now we're kind of unraveling into this little niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
so
really
that's
fun.
Cool. Yeah.
I never thought
Oh
that.
yeah, it's so fun.
Well,
but yes, I know what
it's
you mean.
fun connecting with people on a deeper level.
Yes.
Like the shit that you go through as a human is not always fun, but the ability to bond over it is, where you're like, oh, I got you.
Yeah.
I know that. I've been there.
Yeah. I would agree.
Last little bit of Pima is I feel like now more than ever, my little family unit is so strong. And I'm excited that I have this new mindset where I'm able to relax and enjoy myself a little bit more, because there's really exciting things happening in my personal life that I feel like I get to be fully present for. And that's awesome. Like my brother's getting married and having a baby. And like I just get to see my mom and my dad more. My grandma moved to town. My aunt and uncle moved into their house. That's like been long awaited. Like there's just little things that are actually big things that are all adding up that just make me feel like, okay, everyone's okay. Like we're all doing it. We're set.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good. I would say for me, I would add on to sort of like our change in mindset. And what that looks like for me is what we were saying, like this whole episode of just like lightening the grip on things, because yeah, I just think like I can easily be like very rigid in my approach to things, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, just being more relaxed with things. And for I guess other Pimas, I would say that Brogan lives in town now.
Yeah.
Because she is my best friend since I was like 12. And she was living in Hawaii for the past few years. And now she's back and it's great. And yeah, I feel like everything is looking up, like in general. Like I'm happy for this evolution. And I'm looking forward for what's to come.
I think the contrast, while it was super shitty to be in it, is really helping us. Like going from where we were recently to where we are now, it really does help you appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps you. It even lightens the good moments up even more. Like, or it lights them up. You're just like, holy shit. Like this is what life's about. Like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Not like that. But I guess, yeah, it is supposed to feel like that too, because that's just what life is.
It just is. Yeah.
But yeah, everything's temporary. We're all going to figure it out, even when it feels shitty. We got this.
Fuck, I feel it now more than ever.
Yeah.
Let's keep riding the wave, guys.
Let's do this. We're going to have a great rest of the day. Yeah.
Off to go grocery shopping.
Dude, Mondays, I feel like we have really set ourselves up for like a good Monday. Like usually everyone's like, oh, Monday, like what a drag. But I love Mondays. Like it's one of my favorite days.
Yeah. Someone came in today and was like, oh yeah, it's a Monday. And I was like,
No, I'm like, we get to podcast. We
Yeah.
get to like hang out.
I'm not even mad about
We get to
it.
grocery shop
Yeah.
and like go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess
It's
that's
going to be tight.
why you got to choose to incorporate things that bring you happiness.
That's
Like if it was just all work, obviously that's like not going to fulfill you. Like you have to find
No, you
got to
bring joy in other ways too.
Uh-huh.
And if your work is joy,
Badass.
can't wait to be that. Can't wait to be there. Fucking awesome. Yeah.
My lips are super dry. I feel like all I've done was lick them in this episode.
Oh, so head over to YouTube if you want to see that.
Dude,
No,
I have a whole
actually
complex
need to like
about
get
it.
out of the seating position because it's just not right.
Yeah, my back hurts.
All
We're gonna
right.
we're gonna figure it out because we can't keep podcasting on my bed.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Slowly but surely, no pressure.
Yeah, something is gonna come along where we like. It would be awesome to have access to a studio, maybe like twice a week, and we could just record a bunch of podcasts. You know, like we could do that.
Yeah, but there's also something about this podcast being like a journal.
Right. So it's like really relevant.
Yes, it's week over week where we're at mentally. You guys grow with us, or you don't grow with us and you watch us
just
spiral.
Listen. Yeah, sure. No,
No.
We're growing, whether we spiral or not.
True. I think we tried to say bye. Like we were leaning towards bye and then we brought it back. So everyone, have a great week.
Yes. Thanks for listening.
Make sure you're subscribed.
Reach out if you need support or if you want to say hi. We obviously love it.
I cry even at the thought of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job, Mad.
Yay. All right.
Bye.
Oh my God. Bye.